What's going on, fantasy world? It's your boy Hot Soup coming to you week 2 underachievers. You need to go check us out on our other episode of overachievers for week 2. But now we're going to talk about those guys that were dismal. That's right. Those big name guys that we had starting in our lineups thinking they was going to win our week and they flopped. Whew. Let's go with the number 1 guy. And we're just going to get this out the way right now. Our number 1 quarterback on underachievers was Matt. That bastard lost us leagues all over the world. Everybody thought Matt Stafford was going to be that guy going against that piss poor defense this week. Boy, did he let us down. Matt Stafford ended up the number 28 quarterback. Listen, it's still a game. It's Monday right now. It's still a game tonight. 2 quarterbacks to play. That means 30 quarterback plays. And this man was number 28. Oh, man, you got to be more careful, man. Matt Stafford ends up with 216 yards, a fumble, 6.64 points in fantasy scoring. For those Stafford owners, we know there's going to be better days, but right now it's time to bench Matthew Stafford until we see otherwise. You heard it from the soup. And let's talk about our number 2 underachiever for week 2, quarterback Josh Allen. No gas, no gallons. Let me tell y'all something, man. Obviously, Josh Allen is going to have better days. It was the game script. They went up big quick. They didn't need to pass the ball. He didn't need to throw touchdowns. The defense did their thing. There's going to be games like this. Fantasy owners, relax. Everything's going to be all right. Josh Allen is still going to be that guy. But for week number 2, womp, 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 womp. And our first running back for underachievers this week, a guy that I benched in every league I had him in because I knew that defense was going to put it on him. Rachaad White, or shall I say, can't get right. Yeah, man, that guy was running into his own lineman. Y'all might want to go pick up Mr. Buck Irving. Rachaad White's future as the starting running back for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers is in jeopardy. Rachaad White, 10 carries, 18 yards, 1 reception, 5 yards, 2.8 fantasy points. Go get you some Bucky Irving ASAP. And our next running back on the board for underachievers was Zamir White. Woo-wee. A lot of you fantasy managers was out here grabbing Zamir White in the first 6 rounds. That's right. Had a homeboy grab him in the 5th. Like, what is y'all thinking? What are y'all doing? They just thought that he was just going to jump in for Josh Jacobs and just run like Josh Jacobs? No, sir. Listen, man, I don't know what Zamir White was doing over the summer. Maybe it was that other White from South America, you know what I'm saying? Because he is not looking good. First week, bust. Second week, bust. Zamir White ends up number 41 overall in fantasy scoring from the running back position. Zamir White with the 9 carries, 24 yards, 3 receptions for 14 yards, 5.3 fantasy points. Not what you wanted out your starting RB2. Madison vultured a touchdown from him as well, so there was no scoring for Zamir. If you're putting Madison in when it's time to score, that's the back I want over there in Las Vegas. That's all I'm saying. Our next underachieving running back, Zack Moss. More like a coin toss. You never know what you're going to get from this guy. Zack Moss, the number 41 running back overall in week 2 with 12 carries, 34 yards, 1 reception, 13 yards for 5.2 fantasy points. He's going to have better days. Chase Brown only got 4 carries, so it's not like he's chewing into his workload. Just what they got going on, the chemistry over there right now is not clicking. You got Joe Burrow pushing Chase off him, pushing Chase off the refs, pushing Chase off other players, pushing Chase off his own players. Let me tell y'all, man, Jamar Chase has ruined the locker room over there. I hate to say it, but it is what it is. And I'm one of the fantasy managers who owns Chase. But right now, man, nothing is making sense in Cincinnati. So starting any of those running backs is going to be your downfall in your 2024 fantasy season. And we're going to talk about our first receiver off the board in week 2 for underachievers, Amari Cooper. Might as well go ahead and become a hooper, because that guy, Deshaun Watson, is on absolutely nothing. He out here stealing. He worried about his lifestyle and what he got going on. He is not worried about football. He is obviously not worried about winning. Guy needs some practice, man. They need more reps. They need something. Amari Cooper is still a very, 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 very good receiver. So the fact that he only had 3 receptions on 8 targets, 3 receptions, shows me that the quarterback and the receiver are not on the same page. With that said, Amari Cooper ends up with 2.8 fantasy points. He is receiver number 78 on the week. You got to be more careful. And our next receiver on the board, Xavier Worthy. That's right. He had that big week 1. Everybody thinking he's going to have a big week 2. Womp, 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 womp. Might as well call him Xavier Worry. That's right. Y'all should be worried over there. Now, I know Hollywood Brown is out, but Xavier Worry, like my boy said, man, before the game, he's a straight line runner. He's not a route runner like that. All you got to do is put your hands on him. He only weighs $140. Defenders and secondaries and defensive coordinators have already found a way on how to stop this guy. Just jam him at the line, put him on the ground a couple times. Soon as he gets a couple of those real NFL hits, like I said, you're going to be calling him Xavier Worry. Xavier Worthy this week with the 4 targets for 2 receptions and 17 yards. He had 1 carry for 5 yards. He ends up with 3.2 fantasy points. Yeah. So for all of y'all that was out there running and trading for Worthy, I'm telling y'all now, man, it's going to be hit or miss. He is going to have a couple games this year where he goes slap off. But are you willing to lose week in and week out on those weeks that he doesn't? Ask yourself that. Ask yourself, is your 2024 season worthy of Xavier Worry? And our next receiver off the board, Michael Pittman Jr. You picked him for your number 1 receiver. Boy, that is humor. That's right, man. I was trying to tell y'all, we don't know what Anthony Richardson's really going to be looking like. He's going to have good games. He's going to have some bad. His accuracy is not all that. Michael Pittman Jr. is not bringing in 11 and 12 targets a game. They are a run-first offense, man. Like I said before, when I see that team, I see Baltimore. Run-first offense. You get down to the goal line. It's not going to be a lot of passing, a lot of red zone targets from Mr. Michael Pittman Jr. So for those of you who was grabbed him as your wide receiver 1, I feel sorry for you. You should have listened to the soup. Michael Pittman Jr. goes off for 7 targets, 3 receptions, 21 yards, good enough for 3.6 fantasy points, ends up 65th receiver in fantasy scoring in week 2. And we're going to go with our first underachieving tight end. All of y'all that was going out there and getting Travis Kelce for your number 1 receiver, draft him in the 2nd and the 3rd round, seen somebody draft him in the 1st round this year. What was wrong with y'all? That's right, man. Travis Kelce looking more like a used car salesman, man. I mean, this guy is all in the tabloids and the headlines for the wrong things. That's right, man. Distractions really, really have proven time in and time again that when it's football season, you need to focus on football. When it's the off season, you need to focus on football. This guy's taking trips to Europe, trips to Belize. He's in the islands. He's in South America. Shit, who knows, man? Where this guy's probably on with Elon Musk, man, taking flights out to the space hotels out in outer space. Because his head sure in the hell ain't in the game. 3 targets, 1 reception, 5 yards, 1.1 fantasy points. This is with no Hollywood Brown and no Pacheco for a full half. Travis who? If you got Travis Kelce, you might want to think about trading him now. I don't see pretty days in the future. That guy went from sugar to shit quick. Travis Kelce was the 42nd scoring tight end in week number 2. 42nd. If I would have told you that when y'all was drafting him in the 3rd round, you'd have probably tried to smack me. But the joke is on you. And our last tight end for underachievers, and y'all already know who it is, Sam LaPorta. Woo, did he have a bad game. Ended up the 28th overall tight end in fantasy scoring, 3 targets, 2 receptions, 13 yards, 2.3 fantasy points from your round 2 pick, Mr. Sam LaPorta. I know y'all feeling like some fools. Fool's gold. Nah, man, Sam LaPorta is going to have better days. I understand it was just a game script. He didn't get a lot of targets, but somehow they got to get that guy involved. Golf isn't looking like the golf of last year. That running game still looking wicked, though. So that is a good thing Sam has going for him. Once the run game gets going, usually it opens up the passing game. So hopefully Sam is going to have better days. Those are underachievers for week number 2. Come check us out for our overachiever episode in week number 2. This your boy Hot Soup coming in live. Come see me on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram. Like and subscribe. It's your boy Soup, and I'm out.